How's it going, guys? I'm Otaku Eggy. I am making a series going through my preparations for the next Speed Duel side events at the WCQs at Indianapolis this year. I plan on taking you through my developments and my strategies and my deck building process in a format that is not explored in a game that no one cares about. And there's really no information about it, which is kind of why I like it so much. So I'm going to try to take you through my process of deck building, deck choices, text, and understanding of the format to try and take home another giant card. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys maybe even try speed duels or just watch for fun and see someone who's kind of okay to decent at speed duels or Yu-Gi-Oh in general and see my process of building where it's kind of raw and there's absolutely, like I said, no guide rails. There's no YouTubers. There's no data really except for the wiki, and the wiki is just a database. So I hope you guys have fun watching it, pique my brain, maybe figure out how to play a new strategy you guys might want to try for maybe advanced, Time Wizard, or even try speed duels, like I said. I hope you have fun watching, and thanks for tuning in. Alright, guys, so I'm going to take you through a little bit of me and my experience through speed duels as a whole, and why I'm such a fan of the format. So I quit the game around Zodiac because I got a career position at a job, and I couldn't play on weekends anymore, and I couldn't justify the prices versus the gameplay. And so I took a long break, and I would pick up the game randomly with my friends, play some kitchen top Yu-Gi-Oh, not know what the cards do, which is what everyone still does. And it was a fun experience to kind of go back from a more competitive to a more casual to like kind of leaning on just watching YouTube videos and shorts every so often. So at the end of COVID, I went to my very first YCS with the only goal to play side events. And my friends dogged me for it. And in all fairness, I would have dogged me for it when I was playing too. Why not play the main event? You're at a Yu-Gi-Oh event. Play freaking Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So I go to these Winamats at Speed Duels when they were $5 a Winamat. It was so affordable. The game was so approachable. It was more of a girlfriend format. But it was just fun tabletop, countertop Yu-Gi-Oh! So this guy crushes me 4, 5, 6 Winamats in a row before the giant card. And so I say to myself, I've got my bulk. I will build his deck. And so I did, and it led to me to my very first giant card I've ever won. It was my first huge prize. It was a blast. Going forward, Speed Duels had the best part of Speed Duels, in my opinion, was the remote main series events. When they got rid of it to put him in the YCSs, it was a mistake for two reasons. One, the best players of Speed Duel could no longer play every month against each other, pushing the format forward. It was absolutely the best part of Speed Duel, seeing a community of small, very strong players get together and play in this really small format. It was awesome. It was basically a worldwide locals with the best of the best. And one player won about 8 months in a row. And I learned out later, he was a YCS champion. And then it made so much more sense. But I won my very first Speed Duel main event, and I was so ecstatic. I was like, I feel like I've really earned a win in this kind of grindy, gritty format. And it was an absolute blast. But now they took it away. And so the game, not only did they take away the remote main events, they said they're going to kill the game. So everyone's lost wind in their sails. And then they brought out the new box. The new box was full of flabbergastedly amazing Yu-Gi-Oh staples from history. From Mirage of Nightmare to Amazons, from Duel Links, from Doom Cow, Snipe Hunter, you name it. It was an amazing set. But no one cared. Between raising the price of the Winamats to the YCSs losing a giant card for Speed Duel events. Most players would only come for the Speed Duel giant cards, given the fact there was 2. But now there's only 1, and they do the main event series there. The problem is now no one wants to go to these YCSs, and no one does the main event, which means no one's pushing the format anymore. So I went to YCS Florida, and I was going to bring an Amazon deck that was really strong in Duel Links and we brought it over to Speed Duel. I was going to bring it. I thought it was the best deck ever, until my buddy says, "You've got to try the Snipe Hunter deck." I'm like, it can't be that good. It was. It was unfair by all means. It felt like Tier 0. I have never in my life played a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where every single game felt as free as it did. Which led me to another giant card. And I give absolute credit to him. He won the next several YCSs because he kept traveling. And I couldn't justify it for only one giant card. And I'd keep my prizes. So, anywho, the game's on a standstill until today. 3 weeks before Nationals in Indianapolis, they've announced a new ban list. And Konami didn't really try to tell anyone, which is crazy. So here I am. I'm going to take you through this process of going through and trying to build for the next format. But first, we're going to go over what was great and really strong and very, I thought, slept on in the previous format. Sorry for the kind of low effort here. I'm not really a whiz at this video stuff, so all my crap's really going to be in paint. Anywho, the Tier 0 deck was a Snipe Hunter deck. Snipe Hunter is Snipe Hunter. He's historically strong, but imagine a skill where you get to add him to your hand every single game once per duel. Now he's way better, but on top of that, the skill allows you to re-roll a die once per turn. Now, this sounds really good, but it sounds a lot better when you add Volcanic Shell and the Ishizu Medora Retrain card, where you get to go like pop 6, 7, 8, 9 times in a 6-card on field format. Now that's strong, but it gets even stronger when you add Armed Dragon White. Armed Dragon White's an easy monster to summon, and we also have Melleaf Awakened Dragon, which lets you add Armed Dragon level 10 and Armed Dragon White. Discard Armed Dragon 10 for Snipe Hunter, summon Armed Dragon White, and then you get to add the White Veil spell to pop yet another card. So the synergy was amazing. It popped like 10 cards in one turn, and then also pushed for 4,000 life points. While Amazon was the strongest strategy in terms of like generically strong, consistent boards with like, control elements, Snipe Hunter just blew up 8 cards and attacked for 4k. And very often, you could pass on never playing a card if you had to go first. Then your opponent would set up, not do enough, and then you would almost guarantee to blow them out of the water. And then in the next slot, we have Amazons. Amazons is an amazing deck. They basically got 5 reinforcements to the army. They have a trap that turns all their monsters into DD Warrior Lady. And then the skill was a Taya skill, Battle City Besties. If your opponent activated a card on your turn, so any trap spell effect, you draw in the end phase. And if that's not enough, you do not take battle damage on your turn. So, if you take Amazon Princess and whack into their monster for no damage to you, you could send something, special summon Amazon Queen, and next thing you know, you are setting up your board to have everything's a Spirit Reaper. And then you eventually get your macro, or your Amazon Onslaught, turn it into DD Warrior Lady, and you just beat them down, and it really shut out a lot of the format. Dark Magician got very popular because of Magic Karibo, which is a card that no one saw, I think, when it got released, even when they put all the mats and the deck box and sleeves out. It's just a cute card after all. But in Speed Duels, it turns Dark Magician into a Gores-like monster. So whenever you take battle damage, you can discard Magic Karibo to special summon Dark Magician from deck or graveyard. Well, against Snipe Hunter, where they blow up all your cards, now you have a wall to stop you from, losing. But in the Dark Magician deck, the skill card also lets you add a Dark Magician spell, trap, or monster that lists Dark Magician on its name, which includes Dark Magic Attack, which is a Harpy's Feather Duster for Dark Magician specifically. So that was another really strong deck, because it had a searchable Feather Duster in a format where MST's at 1. Next, we have a really interesting deck, the Exchange of Spirits deck. It was a stall deck there is a skill card that turns it towards old text, where only you have to control 15 cards in your graveyard. So you play cards like Card Trooper, you're playing your Wabakus, you're just stalling them out, you're milling yourself, and Mirage of Nightmare. And so, Mirage of Nightmare, in a deck where you only have to get 15 cards in your graveyard, I mean, just set everything, draw 5, discard 5, and then you set this card up in like 2 or 3 turns. It was an amazing deck, and there was one guy who did very well with like 2 or 3 events in a row, and it was super cool to watch him play with it. And then the last deck has kind of slept on, and it was a real popular beginning, but then it slowly died away as everyone saw Snipe Hunter and Amazons really make a push for the best deck, was a Winged Dragon of Raw deck. It would actually go through all 3 forms of Raw, and if you ever see Super Check-In in a 4K Life Point format, you're probably losing. And then even worse, when Sphere Mode comes out, you can't even deal with him. Or most decks couldn't deal with him, unless they had something like Tribe Infecting Virus. So it was really odd seeing this format play out. Snipe Hunter was overly dominant. Amazon should have been, and then Gate kept everything else. Dark Magician was more so a counter to Snipe Hunter. But this was the format we just left. So next I'm going to go over the ban list that we just got today. And I'll try to explain it first. So much like Duel Links, the Speed Duels ban list has those weird funky rules and restrictions. So if you have something on the 1 list in your deck, you can play nothing else in the 1 list. If you have something on the 2 list in your deck, you may only play 2 cards on the 2 list. So if I'm playing Foolish Burial at 1, I can play 1 Monster Reborn. Or I could play 2 Foolish Burial and nothing else on this list. And then for the 3 list, it's the same concept where you can play 1, 1, and 1, 2 and 1, or all 3. But then you're locked out of the rest of the list. So from there, the little explanation, we're going to go through these changes and really dictate the impact of them. So right away, the very first card to go to 1 was Amazon Onslaught. This is the card that makes Amazons like DD Warrior Lady. When they attack or are attacked, you can banish the other monster at the end of the battle phase. Or at the end of the damage step, I think? I forget. But you banish them after you fight. And then also, once per copy, you can special summon an Amazon on either player's turn from your hand. And then, even more, when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can just special summon an Amazon from your graveyard. That's really, really, really strong. And in Duel Links, historically, this card was also a big problem. But that was the only new change to the 1 list. Going to the 2 list, we have the skill that Amazon used, which is Battle City Besties, which was the skill card that allowed you to draw a card on your end phase, or on your end phase if your opponent activated a spell, trap, or monster effect on your turn. And also, you took no battle damage on your turn. So, it was really, really good in Amazons. It was really its only use it saw, because Amazons were so consistent and strong. The next new card added to the 2 list is Amazon's Call. This is their in-archetype reinforcements to the army for Amazons, which is really good because Princess can search it. And now they used to have 5 reinforcements to the army, now they only have 2, or just 1 if they play the Taya skill still. So this was a huge hit to the deck, but I really don't think it was enough. And then the last change to the 2 list was Monster Reborn. I don't know exactly why they hit it, except for to hurt the Raw deck. They have a spell card that searches Monster Reborn. It allows you to reborn Winged Dragon of Raw, and lets that deck really start going. But this feels like an overhanded kind of hit. I don't know if it's amazing, if it really changed anything. Really, nobody was playing Reborn, because in like Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Advanced, Reborn kind of sucks. And it's only good late game, but if you're getting OTK'd every game, it's terrible. And then for the 3 list, we have a bunch of changes. So this is the dice skill, They See Me Rolling. This is the skill that allows you to add any card that adds a dice roll, has a dice roll effect on it, to your hand by putting 1 card from your hand back to the bottom of your deck. So people would play Snipe Hunter with this, and Dice Foon as their dice targets to turn on the skill, which then allows them to get once per turn reroll on dice effects. But most importantly, you're guaranteed to see Snipe Hunter every single game. And that's why this card was huge. Then we have Amazon Princess, the absolute cornerstone to the Amazon strategy. When she is summoned, you get to add a Amazon Spell or Trap card, which will be Onslaught or Call, which are just great cards. But then even on top of that, whenever she attacks, you can send one card from your hand or field to special summon in defense another Amazon monster card, which was normally Amazon Queen, which made her unkillable in the attack, which also meant, and with Battle City Bestie, you took no damage, you got Queen out for basically free. The next card on the list was Doom Caliber Knight. He was seeing all kinds of play in Amazon, or not in Amazons, in Raw and in Dark Magician. The reason why he was playing in Dark Magician is their skill card turns Dark Magician, the Dark Magician girl, which no one played, into Cyber Dragon. So Doom Cal could do all he needed to on your opponent's turn, thus clearing your field to where you could summon Dark Magician, get your free search for Duster, and beat the crap out of him. The next card is Snipe Hunter. This is clearly to conflict with the They See Me Rolling skill card. So now you can either play one copy of See Me Rolling and 2 copies of Snipe Hunter, or play one skill, one snipe, and one other card. And we'll get to another card that was in that deck really soon. The next card is Tribe Infecting Virus. Tribe Infecting Virus, historically busted card. It was very, 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 very strong in Raw and turned Dark Magician into an OTK deck. Because if you summon Dark Magician, then summon Tribe, add Feather Duster, you Duster them, and then you discard cards to pop all their monsters, that's 40 some on field and you win. And then in Raw, it was used to destroy the Wind Dragon of Raw, while Super Chicken's in Graveyard, brings Super Chicken out and really winning you the game just like that as well. So this was a welcome hit in my opinion. Volcanic Shell, the worst good card to ever be on a ban list. He's on here because Snipe Hunter abused the crap out of him. They would discard one shell, a second shell, a third shell, and the Medora Retrain to discard a 4th and 5th shell, which turned a 2-card discard into popping 5 cards, which obviously is too strong. So now you can play one See Me Rolling, one Snipe, one Shell, or you basically your cut Shell out of the deck altogether, which you have to. Unless you wanted to play some weird thing where Snipe Hunter's at 1 randomly, and you have 2 shells and you don't have the skill anymore, it doesn't feel worth it. The last new card on the 3 list was Enemy Controller. I don't think I agree with this at all. I think it was probably healthy for the game, and given how big our 3 list is, you put all of our staples on it, so I don't really understand why you put it on here. I think there were better cards, but I digress. The big reason Enemy Controller on here, in my opinion, was because of Snipe Hunter. One of the few counters Snipe Hunter had to Dark Magician being summoned off of Magic Rebo was to use Enemy Controller to steal it, and then you still win. I don't understand exactly why it's here. It's a strong card, absolutely. But I don't know if it was strong enough to really put on the 3 list, because I have not seen a deck that's going to OTK you with an Enemy Controller. But those are the big changes. Also notable that no other card on this ban list moved from any other position on this ban list, even off. So nothing went from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, or 3 to off. Nothing moved at all. Only cards from the new box were put on the list. So we're given not really a brand new format. It's more so it's just killed 2 or 3 of the best decks. So here are the cards I think they probably should have hit, which is just for me really, because they didn't hit them, and this is all hypothetical. Armed Dragon White is an actual problem. He's a very strong card. When on summon, you get to add a White Veil, which turns him into this awesome destructive force. When he attacks, you get to destroy 1 card, non-targeting, and so he's like destroying 2 cards at a time. He's massive value with Melody of Awakened Dragon. You can add Armed Dragon level 10, or 2 Armed Dragon Whites, maybe even discard Armed Dragon White for Melody, and really, or even use a skill to discard Armed Dragons with Melody also. So, by all means, he was a problem card and should have been hit, in my opinion. Next is Magic Karibo. Like I said earlier, Magic Karibo turns Dark Magician into Gores, but also, he's the whole reason why Dark Magician is a very strong strategy. By leaving him off the list, cards like Allure of Darkness don't see any confliction in the deck building process, and so you only need one Magic Karibo with the deck. So if you see 2 in your opening hand in Allure of Darkness, it's the freest banish in your hand. Like I said, you only need one, and you're in the whole game for the rest of the game, and you could almost splash him into everything as like a Gores style card. Because whenever you take damage, you could discard him to summon a Dark Magician from deck or grave, and whenever a spellcaster on your field gets destroyed, you can add him back from your graveyard to your hand. You use each effect once per turn. So if they attack over Dark Magician, you can add Magic Karibo and then discard him with summon Dark Magician again. At least I think. I can't read him on this little text. But he has so much recursion, he's so strong, I think he should have been hit. Mirage of Nightmare. Draw 4 cards. How on earth was this untouched in a world where we have a strategy based on filling your graveyard quickly to basically win the game without battle phase? I don't understand why this wasn't hit at all. I think there's several ways to abuse this, even with Harpies, to send Hysteric Sign, to add 3 cards. You can even accidentally draw into your Karibos or DD Crow, which was seeing play lately. And I just don't understand how Draw 4 wasn't put on the list in some regard. Sol and Luna. This is a weird Book of Moon card. Both players have to control a monster, and then if they're face down, they go face up, or face up, they go face down. So it's changing a monster on both players' field. It's like a Book of Moon with extra steps. My issue is, Book of Moon is very, very strong. So you have Book of Moon and Paleozoic Canadia, which are both Book of Moon cards. Why would they leave a third Book of Moon card off the ban list? I found that very bizarre. This card is incredibly strong. It's incredibly slept on even. And the fact that it's not on the list is it's gonna be everywhere. Swords Revealing Light. This card's weird. It's strong, and it sucks, but our MST's at 1 or Galaxy Cyclone's at 3. So, Cosmic Cyclone's at 3. So you really can't get rid of this thing, and that's annoying. Most decks will not have, like, spell traps to remove spell traps that are already face up on the field. We have Night Beam, we have Galaxy Cyclone, but you have to wait pretty long to make them resolve and really get your way out of it, or you can't blow them up because they're already face up and on the field. So not leaving Swords Revealing Light seems like a huge mistake due to the fact there's a stall strategy, and we have Chick the Yellow to bounce it back and then play it again. It just seems like a miss to me. And then we have Quaking Mirror Force. This is crazy. How on earth do we have Floodgate Trap Hole at 1 and a Mirror Force that does the same thing at unlimited? This card can lock you out of zones, and being locked out of zones is humongous in a 3-zone format. 3 Quakings and a Floodgate Trap Hole leads to 4 zones you could potentially lock of your opponent, and we do not have extra monster deck zones. So you can easily lock your opponent out of the game because you flipped a trap card. And everyone knows Tribute Monsters suck, but I mean, this is crazy. I do not understand how this was left alone, and like Enemy Controller, which is a temporary spin or a steal, gets hit, but how does a zone locking card not get hit? And the last card I have a problem with is Waking the Dragon. Historically in Speed Duels, this card has either been amazingly powerful and known to steal games with cards like Ojama King and Thousand Eyes Restrict, or it's been kind of crappy. But I don't like the fact that if I activate Mystical Space Typhoon, I can lose the game. I don't think that's healthy. I think it's annoying. I've said this since the very first ban list. It should be banned. It's not fair, especially because of Ojama King. And while Ojama King may be the problem, I would love to see an Ojama strategy that's very, very strong. And if you could play Ojama King properly with 4 cards in your 4-card hand, then you deserve it. In a world where you get hit with an MST or a Galaxy Cyclone or Night Beam and you just lose because you MST'd before you summoned, that doesn't make sense to me. So in the next video, I'm going to put up some deck lists, deck ideas of what I think will be good going forward. What may be strong, what I think is strong regardless of the hits, maybe even trying to build the decks I think were hit on the list and see if they're still viable or not. Because I really think Amazons are still viable, and Snipe Hunter may still even be viable, even though they were these Titan decks, and they were hit pretty harshly on the ban list. Was it enough? I mean, I'll give a look to it, and I will try all these strategies, and I'll build the deck lists what I think is competitively strong, and then I'll try to get some testing in with my buddies, and I'll try to upload those videos, and then from there, I'm going to try to go through my process of trying to slim out what decks I think are going to help me win at Indianapolis at the NWCQs in Indianapolis, because I want to win another giant card because I think this will be my last event I really travel for, unless it's close to where I am. So thanks for watching, and keep tuned.